I'm about to tell you something that will make most self-help gurus furious. Motivation is largely useless for creating lasting change. The multi-billion-dollar motivation industry thrives by selling you temporary emotional highs that fade within days or even hours. True transformation has nothing to do with feeling motivated. It comes from discipline, the ability to act regardless of how you feel. Soldiers don't wait for motivation to complete their missions. They don't need inspiring speeches before every task. They've built systems of discipline that operate independently of emotional states. Your reliance on motivation is precisely why you keep failing to achieve your goals. The cycle of inspiration followed by inaction isn't a personality quirk. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how human achievement actually works. And it's costing you everything you claim to want. Every time a soldier stands at attention, they demonstrate a truth most people never understand. Discipline isn't just a habit. It's the foundation of everything worthwhile in life. Right now, as I speak to you, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is bridged by one thing: discipline. Soldiers don't become extraordinary by accident. They transform into exceptional human beings through consistent, deliberate discipline. The military doesn't hope for excellence, it builds it, step by careful step, through a system of discipline so effective it transforms ordinary people into extraordinary performers. I once met a former Navy SEAL who told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "The difference between civilians and military personnel isn't talent or intelligence. It's that we've been trained to do what needs to be done, especially when we don't feel like doing it." That's discipline in its purest form. Let me be clear. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. It's the ability to control your behaviors and actions, your thoughts and attitudes, and follow through on decisions you've made in advance. Think about the most successful person you know. I guarantee they have exceptional discipline. They wake up early when others sleep in. They work when others play. They study when others watch television. They save when others spend. They listen when others talk. They plan when others dream. The secret of the most accomplished people isn't that they never face hardship. It's that their discipline carries them through those difficulties. When motivation fades, and it always does, discipline is what remains. Consider this. Soldiers don't decide each morning whether they feel like training. They don't choose whether today is a good day to follow orders. Discipline removes those daily negotiations with yourself that waste energy and create inconsistency. I've studied success for over 4 decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that nothing predicts achievement better than consistent discipline. Not intelligence, not connections, not even luck. Those help, certainly. But without discipline, they're wasted advantages. Here's what few understand. Discipline creates freedom. This seems counterintuitive, but it's profoundly true. When you build the discipline to manage your finances, you gain financial freedom. When you build the discipline to maintain your health, you gain physical freedom. When you build the discipline to master your emotions, you gain psychological freedom. The military understands what civilians often miss. Discipline isn't about rigidity, it's about reliability. A disciplined soldier isn't just following orders. They're becoming someone their team can count on absolutely. In your life, becoming disciplined means becoming reliable to yourself. Let me share a personal story. Years ago, I decided to write my first book. I had no publisher, no deadline except my own, and a full-time job. I committed to writing for 2 hours every morning before work. Some mornings I sat staring at a blank page. Some mornings the words flowed easily. But I showed up every single day, not because I always felt motivated, but because I had made a commitment to myself. That book eventually launched my career as an author and speaker. But here's what many don't realize. The book itself wasn't the most valuable outcome. The discipline I built by showing up daily, that became the foundation for everything else I've accomplished. The truth is, we live in a world that wants instant results, but the military doesn't train that way, and neither should you. True discipline isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. Not perfect days, but perfect weeks, months, and years. Not heroic efforts, but habitual excellence. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year of disciplined effort. This is why so many start strong but finish poorly, if they finish at all. The cost of poor discipline is enormous, though often invisible until it's too late. Poor health doesn't happen overnight. It happens through thousands of undisciplined choices. Financial problems rarely emerge suddenly. They develop through patterns of undisciplined spending. Career disappointments usually follow patterns of undisciplined work habits. But the rewards of strong discipline are equally powerful. Every disciplined action is a vote for the person you want to become every time you do what you should when you should. You strengthen your self-respect and self-confidence. Every disciplined choice moves you closer to your goals and further from your competitors. Military discipline is built through incremental challenges. No one becomes a Marine on their first day of boot camp. The training progressively builds physical, mental, and emotional discipline. You too must train your discipline progressively, starting where you are and consistently raising your standards. Here's something crucial to understand. Discipline exists in a hierarchy. Financial discipline flows from emotional discipline. Time discipline flows from purpose discipline. Health discipline flows from identity discipline. Master the foundational disciplines, and the others become easier. Most people try to improve their discipline through willpower alone. But willpower is a limited resource. Soldiers don't rely primarily on willpower. They rely on systems, standards, and structures that make discipline automatic. They create environments where discipline is the path of least resistance. Think about this. A soldier's uniform, daily schedule, chain of command, and standard operating procedures all serve one purpose: to remove unnecessary decision-making and make disciplined behavior the default. You need similar systems in your life. What would change if you approached your goals with military-grade discipline? What if you treated your morning routine, your work ethic, your commitments to others with the same seriousness a soldier brings to their duties? I'll tell you what would happen. Your results would multiply, your confidence would soar, your influence would expand, the gap between your potential and your performance would close dramatically. Remember this, discipline isn't something you have, it's something you practice. No one is born disciplined. It's built decision by decision, day by day, challenge by challenge. The fundamental truth is this: the quality of your life will never exceed the quality of your personal discipline. Master discipline, and you master success itself. The battle for discipline is won or lost in your mind long before it shows up in your actions. Soldiers understand this truth better than anyone. Their training doesn't begin with physical challenges. It begins with mental conditioning. What makes a soldier stand apart isn't just physical strength or tactical knowledge. It's mental toughness. The ability to push through discomfort, to maintain focus under pressure, to execute despite fear. This mental discipline is what you must develop if you want extraordinary results in any area of life. Let me tell you about mental toughness. It's the ability to control your thoughts rather than letting your thoughts control you. It's choosing your response to situations rather than reacting automatically. It's maintaining your standards even when no one is watching. The first step in building mental toughness is taking complete responsibility for your life and results. Soldiers don't blame their equipment, their teammates, or their circumstances. They work with what they have and find a way to complete the mission. When you take total responsibility, something remarkable happens. You move from being a victim to being in control. The moment you stop blaming external factors for your lack of discipline is the moment you start building real mental toughness. The second step is controlling your self-talk. The average person has about 50 thoughts per day, and for most people, 70% of those thoughts are negative. These negative thoughts, this is too hard, I can't do this, I'll never succeed, are the enemy of discipline. Soldiers are trained to replace negative self-talk with mission sphemerist talk. They don't say, I'm exhausted. They say, I need to complete this objective. They don't say, this is impossible. They say, I need to find another approach. You must do the same. Monitor your self-talk ruthlessly. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts that undermine your discipline, immediately replace them with empowering alternatives. Don't say, I hate exercising. Say, I'm building my physical strength. Don't say, I can't resist this temptation. Say, I am in control of my choices. The third step in building mental discipline is practicing discomfort. Soldiers deliberately train in adverse conditions, excess heat, cold, hunger, sleep deprivation, not just to prepare for battlefield conditions, but to strengthen their mental resilience in your life. This means regularly doing things that are uncomfortable but beneficial. Take cold showers, fast occasionally, wake up earlier than you want to, work longer than feels comfortable. These small discomforts build your capacity to endure larger challenges without breaking your discipline. One powerful technique from military training is stress inoculation, exposing yourself to small doses of stress to build resistance to larger stresses. If public speaking terrifies you, start by speaking to small groups. If financial discipline is your weakness, start with small savings goals before tackling bigger ones. Now, let's address the internal enemies that sabotage discipline: fear, procrastination, and excuse making. Fear is the first enemy of discipline. Not just fear of failure, but fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. Soldiers learn to acknowledge fear, but act anyway. They don't pretend to be fearless, they become courageous, which means feeling fear, but not being controlled by it. When fear arises, name it specifically. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid people will judge me. I'm afraid this will be uncomfortable. Then immediately focus on the action you need to take. Fear diminishes through action, never through avoidance. Procrastination is the second enemy of discipline. It's the gap between intention and action, and it's deadly to your goals. Soldiers don't procrastinate because they understand that delaying critical actions can have life or method consequences. Combat procrastination by breaking tasks into smaller components. Don't say, I'll write my business plan. Say, I'll write the executive summary today. Don't say, I'll get in shape. Say, I'll do 20 minutes of exercise right now. Also, use the 5-second rule developed by Mel Robbins. When you feel the impulse to take a disciplined action, count backward from 5 and then move immediately. Don't give your brain time to generate excuses. Excuse making is the third enemy of discipline. Your mind is remarkably creative when it comes to justifying undisciplined behavior. Soldiers learn that excuses, even legitimate ones, Don't change outcomes. Either the mission is accomplished or it isn't. Develop zero tolerance for your own excuses. When you catch yourself making an excuse, say out loud, "That's an excuse, and excuses don't help me achieve my goals." Then immediately take the action you are avoiding. The final component of mental discipline is creating unbreakable personal standards. Standards are different from goals. Goals are what you want to achieve. Standards are what you refuse to fall below. A soldier's standards might include never leaving a teammate behind, never surrendering sensitive information, never failing to maintain their equipment. What are your non-negotiable standards? What lines will you never cross, even when it's difficult? Perhaps your standards include never missing a workout, never breaking a promise, never going to bed without reviewing your goals, never speaking negatively about others. Whatever your standards, they must be crystal clear and absolutely firm. Mental discipline isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's not about never failing, it's about getting back up immediately when you do. The disciplined mind acknowledges setbacks but refuses to be defined by them. Remember this: mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, thought by thought, choice by choice, day by day. And once built, it becomes your most valuable asset in creating the life you truly want. The military runs on routines. From sunrise to sunset, a soldier's day follows a carefully structured pattern. This isn't about control, it's about effectiveness. When critical behaviors become routine, success becomes inevitable. Your life changes when you understand this truth. Extraordinary results don't come from occasional heroic efforts. They come from ordinary disciplines practiced every single day. The soldier doesn't become excellent in battle. They become excellent in daily training. And that excellence merely shows itself in battle. Let's start with the morning routine. How you begin your day determines how you live your day. The most disciplined people I've studied all have powerful morning routines that set them up for success. Military personnel often rise before dawn, not because they enjoy early mornings, but because those first quiet hours provide uninterrupted time for preparation. Your morning routine should include physical activity to energize your body, mental activity to sharpen your mind, and planning to direct your day. Wake up at the same time every day, including weekends. This consistency builds momentum. Even 15 minutes of early rising gives you time to center yourself before the day's demands begin. Use this time to exercise, read, plan, or simply think in silence. The second element of daily discipline is time management with military precision. Soldiers don't find time for important tasks, they schedule them, protect them, and execute them without exception. Use time blocks in your schedule. Don't just list tasks. Assign specific times for their completion. Treat these appointments with yourself as seriously as you would treat appointments with important clients or loved ones. Eliminate the phrase, "I don't have time," from your vocabulary. Replace it with, "It's not a priority." This honesty forces you to confront your true values. You always have time for what you truly value. Practice the principle of front-legging, doing the most important tasks first in the military. Critical missions aren't left until the end of the day when energy and focus are depleted. Similarly, your most important work deserves your freshest mind and highest energy. The third component of daily discipline is habit stacking. This involves linking new habits to existing ones, creating a chain of positive behaviors. Soldiers use this technique instinctively. One procedure flows seamlessly into the next. For example, after you brush your teeth, existing habit. Spend 1 minute reviewing your goals, new habit. After you pour your morning coffee, existing habit. Write down your 3 most important tasks for the day, new habit. These connections make new disciplines easier to maintain. Implementation intentions are another powerful technique. Instead of saying, I will exercise more, say, when I get home from work, I will change into workout clothes and exercise for 30 minutes before dinner. This specific if-then planning dramatically increases follow-through. The fourth aspect of daily discipline is physical conditioning. The military understands what many civilians forget. Physical discipline reinforces mental discipline. They are inseparable. Your body is the vehicle through which you experience life and achieve your goals. Neglecting physical discipline undermines everything else. Regular exercise, proper nutrition, adequate sleep, and hydration aren't luxuries, they're foundations of peak performance. Exercise isn't just about physical health. It builds mental toughness, emotional resilience, and willpower that transfer to every other area of life. Even 20 minutes of physical activity daily will dramatically improve your overall discipline. The fifth element of daily discipline is after-action review. Soldiers don't just complete missions, they review them, learning from both successes and failures. At day's end, ask yourself, what went well today? What didn't go as planned? What will I do differently tomorrow? This reflection turns experience into wisdom. It prevents you from repeating mistakes and helps you replicate successes. Spend just 5 minutes on this review each evening to accelerate your growth in discipline. Remember this crucial truth. Routine eliminates resistance. When behaviors become automatic, they no longer require willpower. The soldier doesn't debate whether to make their bed, clean their weapon, or stand at attention. These actions are automatic, requiring no mental energy. Your goal should be to make disciplined behaviors so routine that they require no decision at all. This frees your mental energy for higher level challenges and creative thinking. The power of daily discipline comes not from its intensity, but from its consistency. Small disciplines, repeated with unwavering consistency, create massive results over time. This is how soldiers become warriors and how ordinary people become extraordinary. Military operations succeed or fail based on crystal clear objectives. Soldiers never deploy without knowing exactly what mission they must accomplish. This mission clarity gives meaning to their discipline and direction to their efforts. Your discipline must be directed towards specific, meaningful goals. Discipline without direction is just punishment. But discipline aimed at clear targets becomes a powerful force for transformation in your life. Goal setting with military precision starts with absolute clarity. Vague goals produce vague results. I want to be more successful isn't a goal, it's a wish. I will increase my income by 25% within 12 months by acquiring 3 new major clients through targeted networking and skill development is a goal with military precision. Write your goals down with complete specificity. Include exactly what you want to achieve, by when, and the major actions required. The physical act of writing crystallizes your thinking and creates a psychological contract with yourself. The military uses what I call backwards planning to ensure mission success. They start with the end objective and work backwards, identifying each step needed to reach that goal. You must do the same. If your goal is to build $1 million business in 3 years, work backwards. What revenue do you need in year 2? What about year 1? What monthly targets does that require? What weekly actions? What daily disciplines? This backwards planning turns intimidating goals into manageable steps for each goal. Identify the critical path activities, those tasks that directly drive progress. Not all actions are created equal. Some create exponential results, while others merely keep you busy. Soldiers focus on mission-critical tasks, not busy work. You must do the same. Ask yourself, what one skill if mastered, would have the greatest positive impact on this goal? What one relationship, if developed, would most advance this mission? What one daily habit, if maintained, would guarantee progress? Focus your discipline on these high-leverage activities. The true test of discipline comes when you face obstacles. And make no mistake, obstacles will appear. The military plans for worst-case scenarios. They expect resistance. Prepare for setbacks and develop contingency plans. You must adopt this same mindset for each major goal. Ask, what could go wrong? What obstacles might I face? How will I respond when, not if, these challenges arise? This preparation prevents obstacles from becoming excuses. When soldiers encounter resistance, they adjust tactics but never abandon the mission. Similarly, your methods may need to change, but your goals should remain constant unless you receive compelling intelligence that the goal itself is no longer viable. Perseverance through setbacks separates the disciplined from the merely interested. The disciplined person says, "This is harder than I expected, but I'm still committed." The undisciplined person says, "This is harder than I expected, so I'm giving up." Accountability is another critical element of military discipline. Soldiers answer to their commanders and teammates. This external accountability reinforces internal discipline. You need similar structures in your life. Create accountability through commitment and consequence. Tell someone specific what you intend to accomplish and by when. Set up regular check-ins. Establish meaningful consequences for both success and failure to follow through. Consider creating an accountability group or finding an accountability partner who shares your commitment to discipline. Meet regularly to review progress, identify obstacles, and reinforce each other's commitment. Another powerful accountability tool is the public declaration. Tell important people in your life about your goals. This raises the stakes and makes it more difficult to quietly abandon your commitment when challenges arise. The military uses clear metrics to evaluate mission success. You can't improve what you don't measure. For each goal, identify the numbers that matter. Track them religiously. Review them regularly. Let these metrics guide your tactical adjustments. If you're building a business, track revenue, leads, conversions, and profit margins. If you're improving your health, track weight, body measurements, exercise frequency, and energy levels. These measurements provide objective feedback on your progress. Finally, recognize that discipline must be sustainable. The military builds rest and recovery into their operations because they understand that sustained performance requires renewal. Your discipline must include strategic breaks to prevent burnout. Schedule regular periods for rest, reflection, and rejuvenation. This isn't weakness, it's tactical wisdom. The most disciplined people I know work in focused sprints, followed by genuine recovery, not in a constant state of depletion. Remember, applying military-grade discipline to your goals doesn't mean becoming rigid or humorless. It means bringing purpose, precision, and persistence to the missions that matter most in your life. The true mark of a soldier isn't just what they accomplish, but who they become and who they influence. Your discipline creates ripples that extend far beyond your personal achievements. It becomes your legacy. I remember meeting a retired Army Sergeant Major who had served for 30 years. When I asked him what he was most proud of, he didn't mention his medals or missions. The soldiers I trained, he said without hesitation, watching them become leaders who trained others. That's my legacy. Your disciplined life creates a similar legacy. It transforms you, but it also transforms those around you. Children adopt the disciplines they see in their parents. Employees mirror the standards set by their leaders. Friends inspire friends through their consistent example. Becoming a disciplined role model starts with consistency. People don't respect occasional excellence nearly as much as they respect daily consistency, when others can absolutely count on you to do what you say. To maintain your standards regardless of circumstances, you become a powerful influence in their lives. Never underestimate the impact of your example. Words may inspire temporarily, but consistent actions transform permanently. Someone is always watching how you handle adversity, how you maintain your standards when it would be easier not to, how you push through when others would quit. I learned this lesson from my mentor early in my career. He never lectured me about discipline, but I watched him arrive early every day, prepare thoroughly for every presentation, and follow through on every commitment. His example shaped my work ethic more powerfully than any words could have. Beyond modeling discipline, create systems that sustain it. The military excels at creating systems that outlast individuals. Procedures, protocols, and training methods continue long after particular soldiers have moved on in your life. Systems might include morning routines so firmly established they're automatic, financial structures that ensure saving before spending, or productivity methods that guarantee your most important work gets done first. These systems become your discipline infrastructure, supporting consistent performance regardless of mood or motivation. They remove the daily drain of decision fatigue and create a discipline that outlasts momentary willpower. The compound effect of disciplined actions over time creates results that seem miraculous to outside observers. Small, consistent actions don't look impressive in isolation. Their power emerges through accumulation. A single push-up doesn't transform your body. A single sales call rarely builds a business. A single focused hour doesn't complete a degree. But these small disciplines, maintained daily over months and years, create extraordinary outcomes. I've watched clients transform their businesses through the discipline of making 5 sales calls every morning before checking email. I've seen individuals completely reshape their bodies through the discipline of daily exercise and careful nutrition. I've witnessed marriages revitalized through the discipline of meaningful daily communication. These transformations weren't the result of heroic efforts or dramatic interventions. They came from ordinary disciplines, practiced consistently, compounding over time. Your discipline legacy culminates in what I call the ultimate discipline, living in alignment with your deepest values. When your daily actions consistently reflect what matters most to you, you achieve a level of integrity and fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Now it's time for your first mission in disciplined living. Tonight, before you sleep, decide on one discipline you'll implement tomorrow. Make it small, specific, and consequential. Perhaps it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, eliminating sugar from your diet, or spending the first hour of your workday on your most important project. Write it down, set up any necessary support structures, and commit to this discipline for the next 21 days without exception. This single commitment, fulfilled consistently, will start building your discipline muscle. Remember, every disciplined action is a vote for the extraordinary person you're becoming. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you strengthen not just your results, but your character. Your discipline legacy begins today with your very next choice. Choose well.